The quiet millionaire sitting next to you at the coffee shop doesn't drive a Ferrari. They don't wear designer logos. They don't post their lifestyle on Instagram. Most wealthy people are completely invisible to you. And there's a specific reason for that. It's not modesty. It's not by accident. It's one of 7 unbreakable financial rules that the truly wealthy follow. Rules that Wall Street and the financial industry hope you never discover. Rules the rich follow. There is one rule in particular, the one I'll reveal toward the end. That sounds almost embarrassingly simple, almost insulting in how obvious it seems. Yet every research study on self-made millionaires confirms that breaking this one rule is the hidden reason most people stay financially stuck their entire lives. In the next few minutes, you're going to discover all 7 of these rules. By the time we get to rule number 4, you'll understand something about money that most people never figure out, no matter how hard they work. Here's something most people get completely wrong about wealth. They think millionaires look like the people on TV. Flashy cars, designer suits, mansions on social media. But the data tells an entirely different story. Thomas Stanley spent decades researching American millionaires for his landmark study, The Millionaire Next Door, and what he found shocked the financial world. The typical American millionaire lives in a middle-class neighborhood. They drive a used car. They shop at discount stores. They never, not once, look wealthy to outsiders. These are the quiet millionaires, and they are everywhere around you right now. The reason they stay invisible is not coincidence. It is a deliberate strategy. While most people perform wealth, buying things to signal success they haven't yet achieved, quiet millionaires do the exact opposite. They accumulate wealth while appearing completely ordinary. As Warren Buffett once said, if you buy things you do not need, soon you will have to sell things you need. The quiet wealthy understood this principle before they had a single dollar in the bank. These 7 rules are why they're still wealthy today, and why most people will never join them. But rule number 1 cuts far deeper than you think, because you're probably violating it right now without even realizing it. Rule number 1 sounds simple. It's not. Quiet millionaires never spend to impress. They do not buy expensive things to signal status. They do not upgrade their car when a neighbor upgrades theirs. They do not renovate the kitchen because their social circle started renovating kitchens. You might think you already follow this rule. You probably don't. Researchers at the University of Cambridge studied spending patterns across income levels and found something devastating. The wealthier the neighborhood, the more pressure residents feel to spend. Not because they want to, but because they are terrified of being perceived as less successful than those around them. This is called status expenditure anxiety, and it silently drains the wealth of millions every single year. Every dollar you spend to manage how others perceive you is a dollar that will never work for you. And money that doesn't work for you is a slow, silent leak in the foundation of your financial life. The applause costs you everything. Quiet millionaires broke free from this cycle early. The ones who haven't, they are still performing wealth instead of building it. And rule number 2 reveals exactly why one specific category of debt is far more dangerous than any other kind you will ever carry. Stop me if this sounds familiar. You financed a car that felt incredible the day you drove it off the lot. Maybe you put furniture on credit. Maybe you took out a personal loan for vacation or a new phone. Every single one of those decisions has one thing in common. The thing you borrowed money for was already losing value the moment you signed the papers. Debt for depreciating assets. Quiet millionaires follow rule number 2 without exception. They never borrow money for things that lose value. Cars, furniture, electronics, vacations, clothing. These are the silent wealth killers, because it's not just the original cost. It's the interest compounding on something worth less every single month. Research from the Federal Reserve shows that the average American household carries over $6,000 in high-interest credit card debt, mostly on goods already consumed or completely depreciated. The quiet wealthy understood something early. You can borrow to build assets. You never borrow to consume them. If this is making you rethink your spending decisions, hit like and subscribe to reprogram more of your money blocks. The next rule might be the single most powerful wealth-building habit in existence, and almost nobody practices it correctly. Most people have their financial order completely backwards. They earn money, pay their bills, cover their expenses, fund their lifestyle, and then, if anything remains, they think about saving. quiet millionaires do the exact opposite. Pay yourself first always. Rule number 3, always pay yourself first. Before rent, before utilities, before groceries, before every single expense. A fixed percentage of your income goes directly to savings or investment, non-negotiably, automatically, without debate. George Clason captured this brilliantly in The Richest Man in Babylon, a book published in 1926 that still contains some of the most powerful financial wisdom ever written. A part of all I earn is mine to keep, no less than a tenth of all I earn. The psychology here is profound. When you save what's left after spending, your spending always expands to consume every dollar of income. But when you save first and spend what remains, your expenses naturally adjust. You find ways to make it work, not through deprivation but through intentional prioritization. Start with 10%. If that feels impossible right now, start with 5%, even 1%. The percentage matters far less than the discipline of doing it consistently. Because without this habit, every raise you ever receive will silently disappear exactly the way every previous raise has disappeared. Rule number 4 is where things get genuinely uncomfortable. Here's a question most people never stop to consider. Who actually benefits when you tell people how much money you have? Not you. Think carefully about that for a moment. Quiet millionaires follow rule number 4 with extraordinary discipline. They never reveal their net worth. Not to friends, not to extended family, not on social media. Nowhere. Never reveal your net worth. The reasons are both practical and deeply psychological. On a practical level, revealing wealth permanently changes your relationships. People start treating you differently. They expect you to cover expenses. Old acquaintances reappear with urgent business proposals. Family members develop sudden financial emergencies that only you can solve. But the psychological reason is equally powerful. Talking about your wealth creates a social performance around money that rewires your brain to seek recognition rather than results. You begin making financial decisions that support the story you've told, not the goals you actually have. There's a reason the ultra-wealthy are almost obsessive about financial privacy. It is not paranoia. It is protection of the mental environment that allowed them to build wealth in the first place. The most valuable financial asset is often the one nobody knows about. And speaking of invisible threats to wealth, what happens when emotions enter your financial decisions is more devastating than anything we've discussed so far. In the spring of 2020, while the stock market was in freefall, millions of people made the same catastrophic decision. They sold everything. They locked in permanent losses. They fled to cash and waited on the sidelines. And then the market recovered, all the way to record highs, one of the greatest bull runs in modern financial history. Every single person who sold in panic missed the entire recovery. Emotions destroy financial futures. Rule number 5. Quiet millionaires never make financial decisions driven by emotion. Not fear, not greed, not excitement, not grief, not social pressure. The neuroscience behind this is absolute. When you're emotionally activated, your prefrontal cortex, the brain's rational planning center, is functionally overridden by your limbic system. You literally cannot think clearly about money when you are in an emotional state. As Warren Buffett famously observed, the most important quality for an investor is temperament, not intellect. Quiet millionaires follow a simple protocol. If you feel emotional about a financial decision, wait 72 hours before acting on it. Not 24, 72. By then, the emotional charge has typically dissolved and rational clarity returns. But controlling your emotions around money is only half the equation. What happens when your entire financial foundation lacks one critical safety net changes your entire life. And that's exactly where Rule 6 takes us. In 2008, when the financial crisis devastated the global economy, two distinctly different types of people existed. The first type scrambled desperately to cover bills, sold investments at catastrophic losses, and watched years of careful work evaporate within months. The second type did something almost nobody talks about. They had cash available. Rule number 6. Quiet millionaires always maintain a minimum of 12 months of living expenses in liquid accessible cash. Not investments, not home equity, not a retirement account. Accessible cash. This is the liquidity wall, and it is one of the most misunderstood principles in personal finance. Most financial advisors recommend 3 to 6 months of emergency savings. The quietly wealthy consider that dangerously inadequate, because the purpose of this fund is not just emergencies, it is freedom. When you have 12 months of expenses available in cash, you make fundamentally different decisions. You don't accept a soul-crushing job because you desperately need the paycheck. You don't sell investments at the worst possible moment. You never negotiate from a position of desperation. Money buys freedom, but only liquid money buys freedom exactly when you need it most. And there's one final rule. The one I mentioned at the very beginning, the one that sounds almost too simple to take seriously. That might be the most powerful compound force on this entire list. Here's an uncomfortable question. When did you last read a book specifically about money? Not motivation, not mindset. A real, technical, practical book about investing, tax strategy, financial structures, or wealth management. If you're struggling to answer that, you've already identified one of your most significant financial obstacles. Knowledge compounds like interest. Rule number 7, quiet millionaires never stop learning about money. And this is the rule I hinted at in the beginning. The one that sounds almost embarrassingly simple. The one most people dismiss. They treat financial education the way a professional athlete treats training. Not as optional enrichment, but as non-negotiable maintenance. Charlie Munger, Warren Buffett's legendary partner at Berkshire Hathaway and one of the greatest investors in history, was known for reading voraciously well into his 90s. His most repeated piece of advice was devastatingly simple. Go to bed smarter than when you woke up. The financial world changes constantly. Tax laws shift. New investment vehicles emerge that didn't exist a decade ago. The person who stopped actively learning about money at 25 is operating outdated software in a system that upgraded without them. Every hour you invest in financial education returns compound interest for the rest of your life. But these 7 rules, they are not 7 separate habits. They are one integrated system. And understanding exactly how they connect will transform what you believe is possible for your own wealth. Now let me reveal what I hinted at in the very beginning. The thing that connects all 7 of these rules. The insight that makes the quiet millionaire not just wealthy, but sustainably, generationally, and almost unshakably wealthy. The real secret was hiding in plain sight the entire time. Every single one of these 7 rules is designed to accomplish one master objective: eliminate the external forces that control your financial decisions. Rule 1 removes social pressure from your spending. Rule 2 removes emotional impulse from your borrowing. Rule 3 removes consumption psychology from your saving. Rule 4 removes other people's expectations from your wealth decisions. Rule 5 removes emotional hijacking from your investing. Rule 6 removes desperation from your negotiating. Rule 7 removes ignorance from your strategy. 1. Remove social pressure from spending. 2. Eliminate emotional impulse debt. 3. Save before you spend. 4. Guard your financial privacy. 5. Decide with logic only. 6. Build your freedom wall. 7. Never stop learning. 7 rules buy autonomy. The quiet millionaire is not just richer. They are more free. They make every financial decision from a position of strength, knowledge, patience, and calm. Not fear, not desperation, not what other people think. And that freedom is available to you right now regardless of your current income level. Which of these 7 rules hit you hardest today? Comment the number. I genuinely want to know which one you're starting with. If you know someone still trapped in this cycle, send them this video. They need to hear it. Let me leave you with something that might permanently change how you see all of this. The 7 rules we covered today are not secrets being guarded by the wealthy elite. They were always available. They are in the books, they're in decades of research. They've been documented, published, and available for over a century. The real reason most people don't follow them has nothing to do with access to information. It's programming. It's the invisible financial software that was installed in your mind before you were old enough to question whether it was even accurate. Software that says, spend to belong, borrow to enjoy life now, reveal your success to earn respect, make decisions with your feelings, stay comfortable in your financial ignorance. As the Stoic philosopher Epictetus understood centuries ago, wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. The quiet millionaire didn't get wealthy by being born smarter or luckier than you. They got wealthy by uninstalling that software and replacing it with exactly these 7 rules. And what is genuinely remarkable, you can start today. Not next month, not when you earn more, today. Your mind is either programmed for wealth or for poverty. Now you know how to reprogram it. If you made it this far, comment quiet wealthy. It means you're already thinking like the invisible few. Your mind is either programmed for wealth or for poverty. Now you know exactly how to change it. 7 rules, 1 complete operating system. The quiet millionaires didn't discover anything supernatural. They simply stopped letting the world make their financial decisions for them. No social pressure, no emotional reactions, no borrowed money for things that lose value, no financial ignorance. They paid themselves first, protected their privacy, built their liquidity wall, and kept learning every single day. The path to wealth was never hidden. It was simply never followed. Start with 1 rule today. 1 rule, applied consistently, will change your financial trajectory more than any amount of motivation or inspiration ever could. Your mind is either programmed for wealth or for poverty. Now you know exactly how to reprogram it.